And Los Angeles Mayor Villaraigosa wants to have a Los Angeles ban on plastic shopping bags. That is, if the Senate rejects a bill to ban them. The state proposal would prohibit stores from handing out plastic bags of any type. Bag manufacturers and some business groups are fighting to block the bill in the Senate. The industry says the bag ban would cost thousands of California jobs. Assemblywoman Julia Brownlee proposed the bill and says companies making plastic shopping bags can easily make cloth bags.
A key measure for how effective teachers may be has been published for nearly 6,000 teachers in California. The online database posted by the Los Angeles Times shows test results for math and English in grades 3 through 5. The paper says test scores can show how effective teachers are in raising student performance. The United Teachers of Los Angeles calls the data deeply flawed and says posting it is reckless and destructive. The paper says the Los Angeles Unified School District has been unwilling to use the test scores to evaluate teachers.
And now we go to Jason Llanos, who has the latest with sports.
Thanks, Matt. Now let's head to the Big Apple for some tennis. The sport's brightest stars were in New York to kick off the 2010 U.S. Open. Roger Federer is coming off a victory in Cincinnati. That's the best he's played since losing his #1 ranking. On the women's side, defending champ Kim Clijsters will be an underdog entering the tournament. Top-ranked Serena Williams will miss the tournament after suffering a foot injury. The wide-open field could benefit Maria Sharapova. She is trying to come back from plummeting in the rankings last year. Play kicked off August 30th and will conclude on September 12th. Manny Ramirez is out of here in 2 ways. He was ejected from last Sunday's game against the Colorado Rockies, the same day the Dodgers traded him to the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox claimed Ramirez off waivers last week. The left field slugger is expected to join the White Sox in the middle of their push for the playoffs. Ramirez has missed 123 games since he joined the Dodgers in 2009. That includes a 50-game suspension because Ramirez violated the league's drug policy. In the American League, Ramirez will likely be a designated hitter, which will give him a break from the stress of playing left field. The CSUN women's soccer team played last Sunday against St. Joseph's. The game marked their first victory of the season. Martha Maciel was at the game to cover the action.
The CSUN's women's soccer team played their 3rd game against the St. Joseph's Hawks. With a slow first half, neither team was able to score. The Matadors came off strong in the second half. They dominated the ball, and after several attempts to score a goal, Desiree Cardenas scored the first goal of the game, which also marked her first goal of the season. After several attempts to score a goal, Matador Brielle Slipikov scored the second goal 14 minutes before the game ended. The CSUN team continued to play strong, and just 5 minutes after the second goal, Farron Townley scored the 3rd goal, making it her first goal of the season. Just 6 minutes before the game ended, number 26, Brittany Sakoya, scored the last goal of the game, which also marked her first goal of the season. The game concluded 4-0. The Matadors win their first game for this fall. Cardenas, who scored the first goal, says that this win has given them a confidence booster to go for more wins.
We started off kind of rough, but then in the second half, we just started getting better, and we have to complete those passes. We have to get to the goal, and so we just completed everything, trying in the second half.
The women's soccer team put in a great fight in their 3rd game, concluding with their first victory of the season. They hope to continue strong in their upcoming games. In Northridge, I am Marta Maciel for Valley View News.
The CSUN men's soccer team is set to start their season this month. The team played its final exhibition game in overtime, finishing a scoreless draw against San Diego State. With numerous opportunities to score, the Matadors were unable to come up with a win. Both teams finished 4th during preseason each of their conferences. The season looks bright for the Matadors. They will be playing under new lights that have been added to the Matador field. No team has played under the lights since 2001. The Matadors have added 2 players to their roster that will hopefully add to their success this season. UCLA transfer goalie Joe Sarchetti and freshman midfielder Gustavo Villalobos are some of those hopefuls to help aid them to victory. The CSUN women's volleyball team has gotten off to a slow start this year. The team lost its first 3 matches of the season at last weekend's Aztec Invitational at San Diego State. The Matadors lost in straight sets to San Diego State and to University of Cincinnati. In their final match of the tournament, the Lady Matadors lost in 5 sets to University of Colorado in a match that went down to the wire. Freshman hitter Natalie Allen was a bright spot for the Matadors. She totaled 34 kills in 3 matches. I'm Jason Llanos with sports. Now back to Minerva with more news.
Fox News host Glenn Beck says he regrets calling President Obama a racist. Last year, Beck accused the president of having deep-seated hatred for white people or the white culture. Beck says he wants to amend his comments. He now says President Obama believes in liberation theology. That is a Christian belief that social injustice causes poverty. The outspoken host says he should have never said the word racist. Beck says he sometimes has what he calls a big fat mouth and acknowledges his comments were poorly chosen.
California lawmakers say they are going over the Democratic budget proposal that supports tax increases and delays in corporate tax cuts. They also plan to go over the budget plan proposed by Governor Schwarzenegger that opposes tax increases. Republicans who are supporting Schwarzenegger's state budget plan have called the elimination of the state's Welfare to Work program and other social programs. The California Assembly and Senate scheduled votes between competing states' budget proposals. The vote will be the last day of the legislative session and is the final day for lawmakers to pass bills of any kind.
The Los Angeles Times says ocean testing for pollution has dropped to its lowest level in more than a decade. This means bathers could be at risk at beaches around the state. The Times says testing for bacteria statewide has dropped by nearly 50% since 2005. Fewer beaches have been made closed, but that's because the health officials have not tested the water at many of them. State and county budget cuts are blamed for the drop in testing.
The organizer of an electronic dance music rave is suing the city of Los Angeles for canceling an upcoming show in October. The company founder, Pasquale Rotella, says the rave should be treated in the same way as any other concert in Los Angeles. A company official says the organizer's contract was this month. The organizer's premier annual event, Electronic Daisy Carnival, ended in tragedy this past June with the death of a 15-year-old girl who died of a suspected drug overdose at the rave.
The Los Angeles City Council has sued medical marijuana dispensaries that have failed to follow an ordinance. The law went into effect in June, requiring all dispensaries that registered 3 years ago to maintain the same ownership and management. The city has found that not all dispensaries have followed the regulations. 128 medical marijuana centers were shut down for not meeting the requirements. A lawyer who represents more than 60 dispensaries says that this order is completely irrational.
Los Angeles County is doing more work to protect La Cañada and La Crescenta homes after the station fire last year. The fire burned 250 square miles and destroyed more than 200 structures. The fire also killed two LA firefighters. During rain that followed the scorcher, basins collected more than 1 billion cubic yards of mud and debris. Officials say the improved basin should ensure less destruction from mud, trees, and rocks. The station fire was the largest wildfire in the modern history of LA County.
People in China were celebrating a panda couple's birthday. The county honored the panda's 6th birthday with a cake made of bamboo with candles made from sugarcane and carrots.
For Sarah Van Horn and Jason Llanos, I'm Matt Vanderveer.
And I'm Minerva Trujillo. Thanks for watching. Good night.